Hey guys, we'll go ahead and get started. Respect everybody's time and get going right on time here. My name's Heather Wino. I am a coach and a tech trainer in Barrington, Illinois, which is in the northwest suburbs outside of Chicago. So Barrington, if you've heard of Schaumburg, Palatine, that's all kind of up here in our area. I have been in real estate for about 9.5 years, and I've been a coach for 2 years. So taught this many times. And as the tech trainer, I actually am going to show you guys when we're doing open houses today, capturing leads from open houses, as well as capturing social media leads. So I am going to show you MetaSuite, Facebook MetaSuite, and show you a little bit how to use that in conjunction with Command and some of the some of all of the pre-done posts that you can already do. So you can kind of time block, set that up, and set that out a month out. So we'll be doing some stuff like that. I know typically they don't like a lot of hands-on, but I think when you're teaching social media, it's hard to just talk about it. I got to show you how to do it. So we'll do it a little bit different with that. Start off, if anybody had any questions from last night, I did pop on a little bit. So, and I know what they were kind of talking about. Anything that you guys had that you had any questions about? All right, cool. If you guys have anything, since I will be showing slides, my general rule is just shout out if you have a question. I'll ask some different questions, so feel free to. Having your camera on is great. Then I feels like I'm not just doing a podcast, but I am used to doing that as well. So I'm good with that. I know everybody's got stuff going on in the background. First off, just with oh, did you have a question?
No, maybe I'll wait. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. This is your moment before I start on a roll.
I didn't have a question about last night, but I think my slides got a little mixed up. I have small children. And I was just wanting to know what the title of today's session is to make sure I'm on the right slides.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing capturing open house leads, and then we're also going to be doing capturing social media. So we're going to be combining both of those sections.
Okay, 7.
Those? Okay.
Got it. I was definitely on page. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And does everybody on here know how to access the presentation guide in Command so that they can do that? I see Adrian says no. Would you want me to share that, or you're not very interested in knowing? Okay, I'm kidding. I'm going to start off with that because especially with the open house, there are some checklists and stuff that I will be showing. And so I want you to be able to see how you access that so you can be going forward with it. And let me just get going with sharing my screen with that. Close. All right. Okay, let me go down from my slides. On. Whoop. All right. Okay, so when you're in your Command, and hopefully everybody's used to getting into this point, the very next section over is your Connect. And what's really awesome about this is where you're going to find all these different videos, everything that you want to learn about Keller Williams past classes, different things like that. The first page, this is the one that they tend to continuously update. So you'll see here's some continued learning here, no ceiling. Here's some things from Mega Camp, different things like that. Then you have some quick links right over here, and Ignite is definitely one of the quick ones. So if you just need to pop into there, you can go into any of those. Then you have your own learning where you can actually go in and bookmark anything that maybe you were in the middle of, and then you can go back to. So they have a bunch of stuff in here, lots of different videos, and they keep changing those out too. Then you have the browse all. In here, you're going to have the university ones, and then it goes into any of the lead gen, all the different mega camps, different slides, then anything about command. So if command is not your strong point yet and you want to learn more about it, then going into here and going through any of those is going to be helpful. Then you get into the university courses, and this is where we're at. And you're going to see Ignite right here in the middle. Otherwise, you have access to all the other ones. If you go in, like, let's say I go into the lead generation one, and it'll tell you about what it is. It's always going to say purchase at first. You don't need to purchase anything unless you want a hardbound book, kind of like I have here. Unless you want the hardbound book of something, you don't need to purchase it. You keep going, and here's all the different slides and all the different PDFs that go along with that. So with us, we'll go into then we'll go into the Ignite. Then it goes into wealth building. It does talk about different events, different virtual classrooms, on-demand sessions where you can go in, and they have the really cool book club in here. So if you decide that you want to start, you want to read the MREA book and you want to read it with people, then I think it might be in the My Learning ones. Jump in, I don't know where it is right now, but jump into one of those, and each of the chapters is a video of a different person in Keller Williams talking about it. So you can read through it and kind of get their perspective on each one of the chapters. It's kind of cool, kind of fun to do. All right, so when you go into Ignite right here, once again, you'll see that you can purchase, which you don't need to. Then it's going to be all the instructor manuals. You don't need those. Those are going to be exactly like your participation guide. And then it's going to go into all the different slides. So if for some reason you wanted to take a look at some of the slides again, you have access to all of those. But the very first one is going to be the Ignite Student Manual version 6.0. So you're going to download that, and now you have your own version. I don't recommend printing the whole thing. It's like 350 pages. But what I do recommend is printing off about the last 50. Now, I already have this downloaded. Maybe I already took it off. I might have taken it off. Oh, no, here it is. Okay. So here's an example. I had it set up to talk about the preparation for open house. This is one of the guides that's in here, and that you can print off and then use as you're preparing for your open house. And we're going to go through it in a minute. But if I go into about 300, let's see. Yep. Nope. Let's see a little bit further. And I'm sure other instructors have talked about this, but I just want to show you where it is, because when we're talking about conversations. So right here, sorry, let me admit somebody real quick. Right here where page 319, conversations to spark your career. This is going to be your conversations or your scripts. So when you're trying to figure out like what it is that I'm going to say, how am I going to use my forward questions, any of that, they're going to be all in here. So you can see it's going to be conversations about inventory. I'm brand new, open house, what to say. So I would suggest printing these off, because when you're doing script practices with your accountability partner, these are the scripts. This is where you want to grab them. And this is where you want to get purposeful about these. If you print it in 6 slides per page, it's only 60 pages. Yep, there you go. I just say do the last ones, because then here at My Market Center, we actually print off these pages for anybody who does Ignite. And so then you can write on it. You can really make it your own, but it's going to have, see, here's your forward questions. So you can keep going over those. It has everything there for you. So when you're like, I don't know what to say, conversations with referrals, here's what to say. And that's in the book. All right. Any questions about that? Nope. All right. I'm gonna set it back to where I want it to be. Okay. All right. Just by a show of hands and using your reactions, How many people have done an open house yet? Not yet. Not too many. Okay. So we'll kind of go through this. We'll go through different ways that you can kind of secure them. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm not going to get specific about, anything area wide since we're all over. But as far as rules, I'm always going to say defer to your market center, but we'll get through most of those. Let me start this here. All right. So here's where we are in the process. We're on the capturing the leads with open houses today. You did grow your database the other day. It's going to say all my words down below. It's always annoying, but that's the way it goes when I use this program. All right. Throw this up here. Okay, so always starting off with a quote. Nothing else about your business will have as big of an impact on it as the number of leads you have. So I think we've gone over in the other ones, especially the database. The more you have, the quantity is going to help you with the quality of leads. If you don't have a lot of leads in the pipeline and you don't have a lot of people in your database, then the quantity is not going to equal the quality of the leads that you are looking to start to nurture. Dispelling limiting beliefs. So we've talked about limiting beliefs before and what you might have come into real estate with some of the things that that you might already be worried about. I don't know what to say is one of them. So we just solve that by giving you the conversations. I don't have the experience, things like that. So along with that, open houses. Dispelling the limiting beliefs around that. So the first one, I don't have a listing to host an open house. Hopefully most market centers, you have some system. Ours is a Facebook page where you can go in and you can ask people, hey, is anybody hosting an open house? I'd love to come along. Or get with a mentor, somebody like that you can partner with at least for the first time. After that, then you can work with different teams. And as they have different open house opportunities, you can become their go-to person where you can start to host those. It is a great way to start out where you already are having buyers come through and start to build your database. My first open house that I did solo, the first people that walked through, I ended up helping like 3 years later. And that was all because I put them in my database. I started to nurture them, reached out to them every once in a while. So you never know who's going to walk through the door. But I always think that's kind of funny. The very first people who walked through my very first solo open house. So you always have to be ready. I've had people where I'll meet them that day and I'm helping them the next day. And other people that if they come with a different realtor, or maybe they're just not quite ready, the average person is anywhere from 18 to 24 months when they come through an open house. So even though they're looking, they're not very serious until it's about 18 months. So you've always have to keep that in mind, that that's about how long you're going to have to nurture. And when I talk about that first couple, it was 3 years. So it was over that amount of time. I don't have any signs yet. I would say get some cheap corrugated signs if you don't have them, or if your market center has them to borrow. We have a borrowing system, at least for your first couple open houses. Or if you are doing that open house for a team, ask them to use their signs. You don't really have to spend your money right away branding yourself with open house signs. They're only up for a couple hours. One day every once in a while. So if they say somebody else's name on them, some other team, then to me, that doesn't really make that big of a deal. I can get my signs later. I can spend my money later. So if you're just starting out, don't feel like that is something that's limiting you, is that you don't have your own signs, because that shouldn't be something that stops you. I may not know the answer to the questions visitors have. So whatever that question is, if this is not your listing, then you're going to let the listing agent know. If I have any questions, where can I text you? Where can I call you? And they should be able to be available that day for any of those questions. So if a visitor walks in and says, can you tell me the age of the roof? And you're like, I have no idea what the age of the roof is. You say, well, that's a great question. Why don't you continue to walk around the house and let me just ask the lich agent to confirm and get that information for them and follow back up. If you don't get a hold of that agent, then that's your point to say, hey, I got your information when you checked in, or I want to confirm I have your phone number. I will get back to you with that answer so that you can make sure that you follow up with that person. So you always are ready. Open houses don't really work because most people look online. People do look online, but if they're actually coming in the door, that means they're one step closer to being ready to buy, being ready to work with somebody, being ready to start really searching for a house. A lot of people look online, and even if they're not shopping, they're just looking to look. That's a limiting belief, because if they could have stayed home and not even come in and seen it in person if they weren't starting to get a little more serious. And I won't feel safe. We'll definitely bring a buddy if you don't feel safe. Do an open house with another agent. Bring a spouse. Bring a lender. Bring title person, or anyone that you might want to partner with. Lenders and title companies love to do these with agents. At least in our area, they like to bring water. They like to then put out their flyers. So you can always arrange to have somebody else be there for you. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along. All right. Who benefits from the open house? First of all, the seller does. Obviously, they're getting to show off their house. There's more advertising, social media advertising, maybe it's print media, door knocking, whatever that is, to advertise at their house. Buyers, because a lot of people can come through if they don't have an agent yet. Neighbors, because you're highlighting the area and you're talking and you're bringing people in and into their area, seeing who all is interested. And you, the agent, obviously, because you're looking for leads. So you can always benefit that way. All right. Kind of talking about other benefits would be the expense. One really nice thing about open houses is that you do not have to pay a lot of money to have the open house. It's really your printed material is all you need if you're going to hand something out. So business cards and maybe a flyer. Some other fun ways to do it are getting a QR code. If you have one sheet that has a QR code on there, that is where you can digitally send the listing information to the person who came through the door. Or that might be where you capture their information. Have them scan a QR code that has them fill out all their information. It comes right back to you in a form where you can then put it right into your command. So you can do things if you don't even want to, if you want to have a paperless one, you can do it that way. Any of your prospecting tools, if you're going to go door knocking, maybe it's door hangers and flyers that you're going to be going out there. You get a high return on your investment because you don't have a ton of an investment, and you're qualifying leads so that you can go through. So definitely, it's a great way to, when you're starting out, that you can start to build that database for a very nominal amount of money. All right, not really any ahas about that yet. All right, setting goals. I always think this is good when you're trying to get so many people in your database per week. You want to set what your goals and your expectations are for the open house. Now, we can't necessarily always predict how many people we're going to get, but we can definitely set our goals around it. So before you have the open house, set concrete and achievable goals. For example, tell yourself your goal is to add 6 people to your database. That seems high, maybe it's 3 people. So as you're talking to people, keeping that top of mind, that my goal is they have their information and I'm going to add them to their database. I know we've talked in previous sessions, that the difference between a lead and a contact, when you're getting that information, those are leads going into your database. They are not contacts yet. They've not given you that permission to start to send things to them, to call them, to work with them. They are just a lead. Once they say, hey, yeah, set me up on a search, I'd love to talk more, let's do a buyer's presentation, whatever that might be, then now they're a contact and now you're starting to work with them more. So your goal is to get leads that you can then build upon. All right. The next is picking the house. A lot of times agents, especially if they're offering up open houses, you're going to want to look at the house first. Pull it up on your MLS, see how long it's been on the market, see if they've had a lot of open houses already. See if it's in the middle of somewhere that you know you're not going to get a lot of traffic, because that agent most likely just promised that seller that they would do an open house and they know there's not going to be a lot of people, but they just want to check the box of an open house. That's not your goal. Your goal is not just to be there for 2 hours and stand there and wait for someone to walk in the door. Yours is to get a buyer or get leads. That's your primary thing. It'd be great if you sold the house and that you were the agent to help sell the house, but that's rare. That's actually the least amount of time that happens. You think it happened more, but it doesn't. The people that I have picked up at open houses, I so far have never picked up an open house and sold that particular house to the person. We've ended up going to other houses and buying those houses. So be a little bit picky about which ones that you want to do, because you want to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your time and your commitment. And if your goal is to do door knocking or to start going around in a neighborhood to do flyers, you don't want it to be where it's one house and then you're walking like half a block to the next house, half a block to the next. You want it to be a little bit more of a concentrated area so that you can maximize your time as you're doing your door knocking. So factor all those things in. And of course, if they've already had multiple open houses, you don't want to be like the 6th or 7th open house. You're not going to get people. They already came through. So you want to be first on the market. That house hasn't been sold in a long time. There hasn't been any other open houses, or maybe there was just one ahead of yours where you can really, you can get the most numbers and the best for your time. All right. Any questions so far? Anything with that? All right, cool. All right, preparing and practicing. This isn't consider inviting a speaker such as an inspector or a lender, kind of what I said before. Having a lender there is great so that they can talk to the buyers, talk about different programs that they might qualify for. Maybe even an inspector talks about what to look for. I've never had an inspector come, but I've definitely had lenders come. And it's also just nice to have that. It makes it more of an event when you do have lenders and you do have other people there. A lot of people like to call them property premieres as opposed to open houses, because you're premiering the property and you're looking at it like, I'm having this big event and I'm hosting people in this home for this event. So changing your mindset as this is a property premiere and I'm just the tour guide for everyone to go through. Of course, the best practice is to have visitors sign in and collect their data. Like I said, you can have a sign-in sheet. You can do a landing page, which you can develop in Command soon with the changeover with your agent websites on through Command. It's going to be pretty cool if nobody's mentioned this before. If you have a house in there and it says 123 Main Street, all you have to do to the URL is type in open house afterwards, and it automatically gives you a landing page. So it's going to be pretty cool. Before we had to build them all out and do everything, but now it's going to be a really nice feature. So you can always have a place for them to sign in. And when they sign in directly onto that, any information they get goes directly into your Command and right into their contact card. So you don't have to do anything there. Sorry, guys. I'm fighting a sinus infection, so you'll probably hear that throughout as my voice will leave me. The other things you can do to prepare is going to be to know the neighborhood. If it's a neighborhood you're not familiar with, an area of town that you haven't been in, it is your job to start to learn about that area so that you can have intelligent conversations with people about What's the name of the park down the street? Does it have a playground? What's close by? Where do people buy their groceries? What school district does it fall into? You're going to want to know a lot about that house so that you can give that information out and just have those conversations. Because if somebody's coming from a completely different area, they're not going to know those. They're not going to know, and they're going to expect you to know. All right. Picking the time and a theme. You can always have a theme if you want. Those are always fun. We have one broker in our office who always does champagne brunches. So it is more of a luxury agent, but hers are always on Sunday, always right around noon. She always has champagne, and she has little hors d'oeuvres, and she invites all the neighbors to come, and she invites a lot of her friends and just says, hey, I'm going to be here. Come on by, see this house. And she makes it an event. She makes it a premiere. She brings people over and gets a lot of people through. As a coach, I love to send new agents to her open houses because they really can see what the top end is doing, and you can take from there. If you decide to do like a Thursday night, do something different where it's not your typical Saturday or Sunday, and make it more of a happy hour. I know I went to one on a Friday night where they did something like that. This time of year, be conscious of if sports are a big deal in your area. Whenever your pro sports games are, you don't want to be during that time. You're automatically going to lose people. They're going to want to go before or after. So in my area, if there's a Bears game, even though the Bears suck this year, you still aren't going to have your open house during the Bears game. So if they're playing at noon, maybe you push yours back, and typically it'd go till like 3. Maybe you don't start your open house till 2:30 or 3 o'clock. So you know that you're then going to catch people at the end, or you do an earlier morning one and get in before that. So pay attention to local events that are happening in that area. If there's a marathon, if there's something in that town that's a really big, maybe a fall event, you don't want to be competing with anything else. You want people to have the option to come there. You don't want to have them have to choose which way that they want to go, to your open house or to something like that. The other thing to do is look in the MLS and see when everybody else has kind of already said it. So you can go and look up open houses in that area. I know everybody else, MLS is different, but I know they kind of work the same this way, where you can pull up open houses and you put in the name of a town and you can see them all and kind of see what the time frames. Most people 11 to 1, or most people 12 to 2, whatever that is. And then you can put your time that way. And the purpose of that is to if somebody's going to come out and they're going to go to open houses in the area, they want to hit a couple of them at a time. And you're going to encourage them to do that. I had an open house this last fall where it was a different company. It was a Beard and Warner. I don't know if you guys have that there, but Beard and Warner was down the street. And I called her and we said, hey, we're doing it at the same time. Let's drive business back and forth. So I would say, hey, did you see that house down the street? And many people were like, oh, I had no idea. And they'd send them to her. She did the same to me. So we each had more of a productive open house. Both of our goal was to sell our listing, but it was also to get more people through. And it was funny because we were the exact same model house. So people could really compare the differences in the two. Certain things that my house had better, certain things that her house had better. So don't be afraid of that, even if they're with a different brokerage. There used to be in areas like the caravan tours where people would put them all on display at the same time and encourage people to go from place to place. So you can definitely do that. If you see a couple in that area or that neighborhood, give them a call and say, hey, I'd be welcome to do that. Or especially somebody in your office. If they are having an open house nearby, exchange the flyers of information that you can each hand out and drive them, even if it's not the same house, same price point, whatever, just that you're helping drive that. You don't know what that person's really looking for, and help your market center and help that other person out too. So look at all of those different things when you're picking the time. All right. Once again, know your market, prepare your stats. When you almost want to do a CMA of that house before you go, because the worst thing is to be at the open house and somebody say, yeah, the house next door sold about 2 months ago. What did that sell for? And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know that house sold. And now you've got to look it up. And now you no longer look like the authority in the market because you didn't know the house next door just was on sale a couple months ago and what it went for. So take the time to take a look around, look at the neighborhood, look at what's sold, even if it's not a direct comp of your house. Because if a neighbor comes through, or if somebody who's been really trying to get into that neighborhood comes through and asks you those questions, you're going to want to be able to know. But if you don't know and you get caught like that, then you just say, that is a great question. Give me 1 second. I can't remember the exact price. And you look it up on your phone, whatever that you might use, to quickly find out how much that house was worth and give them that information similar to before. Never tell somebody no, tell them I can find out. And if you can't find out quickly on your phone, call a friend in the brokerage and say, hey, look this up for me real fast. But ideally, even if you don't have the app set up, you can look on Zillow, somewhere like that, and pull up that information. Like I said, know the parks in the area. Even know the trend lines in the area. So if you have, do you guys have InfoSparks in other areas, or is that just us? Do you guys know what that is or have heard of that? Okay. So whatever you guys use to look up trend lines, see how many days on market houses are having in that neighborhood, in that area. Have that information. So if you are doing an open house and maybe they've been on for 2 or 3 weeks and somebody's like, wow, what's wrong with this house? It's not selling. That you can say, well, actually in this area, the average market time is 29 days. So we're still within that time. We're still doing well. And that buyer is going to be like, oh, wow. Okay. I guess I didn't realize that. Because of how quickly some houses have been going and how the past couple of years they have, people just have that in their mind that it should be gone within the first couple of weeks. And that's just not the market anymore. So make sure that you're the authority in the room about all that information. All right. Be safe. So like we talked about before, have a buddy, bring somebody along. Arrive early, park on the street. You don't want to get boxed in the driveway. You don't want someone to pull in behind you and you can't get your car out and you can't leave. Check all the entrances and exits. It's best practice if you if you have a house that has a basement or it has an upstairs, that you are on the main level at all times. So I will tell if I'm doing the open house for someone else or the sellers, I am not going to go upstairs or downstairs with people. My job is to host people, but also to make sure that I know everyone who goes in or out of this house. If I go upstairs with a buyer, I can't see that somebody else walked in, or I can't see that somebody walked out the back door. So I need to keep track of who's in the house at all times and to protect their home, but also to protect myself, that someone didn't sneak in and is hiding in the basement and waiting for there to be nobody there. So have another door open for your exit. So if it is a screen door or whatever, have that unlocked. So if somebody's coming in and maybe you feel unsafe, that you have that exit and you're not fumbling around trying to figure out how to unlock the screen door, and that you can get right out the back door. Make sure your cell phone is fully charged. Turn on all the lights so that you can always see. A lot of times I'll tell sellers, yeah, feel free to turn on all the lights before I get there. You're going to know of switches that I don't know of, and maybe turn on lamps that you normally wouldn't turn on for me. We're not really doing the COVID guidelines much now. And then follow your market center guidelines and checklist for open houses, which I'll show you in a second. So at our market center, we used to have where you could call in if you felt unsafe, but now we're not open on the weekends. So you're going to want to have somebody who knows where you're at and that you have some sort of code phrase that you're giving. So for instance, you could, if it's somebody that's also in real estate, you could say, hey, did we get an offer for 1215 Jones Street? For whatever reason, here we use Jones Street all the time. That is a cue to somebody else that you're in trouble and they need to call 911, and they know where you are, and they know that you need somebody to come by there, that you are feeling unsafe for whatever reason. Also look at people's body language. If somebody's hanging around there too long, maybe you take a call out front and you say, oh, you're still looking, you know what? I have to just make this call. I'm going to step out front for that. And maybe you have your keys with you and you're ready to go for that person not to go. We had one agent in our office that the person kept saying, calling from down in the basement saying, where's the water heater? I can't find the water heater. And she's like, it's down there. It's in the corner. Can you come down and show me where the water heater is? I'm not finding the water heater. She's like, I am not going down there. And then she said, I'm going to be out front when you're ready to go. And she stood outside so that she was not trapped in the house until that person left. So be aware of your surroundings. Like I said, take somebody with you if you're feeling unsafe, but just make sure you always know who's in the house and who's around you. And if you are a little weary and there's like some nice people that are there near the end of your open house, a lot of times what I then do, so I'm not walking around alone afterwards when I think nobody's there, is I walk around with that person and I shut off all the lights as they kind of leave all of the different rooms. So by the time they leave, all the lights are off and I'm out of there too. And I'm not hanging around in that house. All right. Any questions about that? Any ahas? Anything right now you want me to go back over or elaborate on? Great. Let's see. Oh, bring toilet paper. Yep, we're going to go through the checklist here in a second. And hand soap. Absolutely. Keep it in your car. All right. Okay. The difference between big and really big is how you manage your time and your focus. All right. So we talked about preparing, set achievable goals, remove your limiting beliefs, focus on your success, and believe in yourself. Your goal is to get appointments. Your goal is to get leads, to look for active buyers and sellers. That's your goal. That's why you're there. Of course, if it's your listing, it's to sell the house, but most likely if you're doing it for somebody else, it's for you. It's for you to engage and to get people. Most open houses are done when you're is done before the day of the open house. So now we're going to kind of get into what you can do to prepare the week ahead. If somebody wants you to do an open house, ideally you want to have that set up by like Tuesday, Wednesday even, so that it can start to be advertised in your MLS and go to all third-party sites. You want it to be in there enough. If somebody's telling you on Friday, hey, can you do an open house tomorrow? The answer is no, unless it's already been advertised. Because you're not going to, the number of people that's going to see it between that Friday and that noon on Saturday is so limited, it's not worth your time. That's just them trying to get an open house desperately for their listing. That's not worth your time. So you want to make sure that it's been advertised for several days, if not a week ahead of time, so that you're getting as many people to see it as possible. And you're also going to want to ask what the, switching my feet. You're also going to want to ask what the list agent has done for so far. Have they been advertising it for social media? Have they already sent out flyers? What have they done to already start to advertise that open house for you to do it? So asking them that. Prepare your mindset for if you have a ton of people or if you have no one. Always bring something to do. Maybe it's your writing thank you cards. Maybe it's your, you bring your laptop and you're working on your database. Think of it as 2 hours that you're working on your business, lead generating with your business. Maybe you're texting, maybe you're calling people that you don't want to just be sitting there doing nothing, waiting for someone to walk in. Use that as time. You've already, if you have kids, somebody's watching your kids. If you have another job, you're not working that other job. That's your 2 hours that you're working on real estate. So if no one's coming in the door, you're still working on real estate. You're still watching videos. You're doing something to enrich and to grow your business during that time set. All right. Week before preparation, Monday, select the house. Tuesday, post online, walk the neighborhood, invite neighbors to show. An agent here said that they recently had an open house where they, for whatever reason, they had hip replacement, so they couldn't do door knocking. So they sent flyers to 150 of the neighbors and invited them to come from 11 to 12. And then the open house was 12 to 2, but they invited them to come to a neighbors only showing. And if they came through, then they would get registered. They can register to win a prize. then somebody won the prize, but they had all of the registration. And then they still went and sent something, a small something to every single person who came through. So they got that touch. They said 7 neighbors came. So that's 7 people that they added to their database that they now were targeting just by including the neighbors, in addition to the people who came to the open house. So looking at that, inviting neighbors is great. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to have an open house because I know all my neighbors are going to be coming through and I don't want them all looking at my house. So, and I always say, they already looked at they're going to look at your house online. The minute that sign goes up, they are going to pull it up on Redfin or Zillow and they're already looking in your house. And actually, statistically, since it's more out on third-party sites, neighbors who were your typical looky-loos before, they aren't the ones that come through because they saw it online. They don't need to come over. But why you want the neighbors to know, or you never know who those neighbors know. Maybe they have a friend or family member that's looking to get into the neighborhood and that they didn't realize that house was coming up and they want to tell that person. When I first started out, I was walking the neighborhood, my kids, so I have twin 15-year-old girls. And at that time they were 7 and they would bring their scooters and I would walk the neighborhood and flyer the neighborhood and talking to people and they would ride their scooter all around. And it wasn't my first open house. I've been doing it for a while, but a lady was having a garage sale and went up, talked to her, and she was selling everything in the house because her mom had died. So she was having more of an estate sale. I offered to do a listing presentation, never done one before, didn't know how to do it, partnered with someone else in the office. And that was my first listing. That was my first sale from door knocking for an open house. Also, when I was door knocking for that same open house, I handed a flyer to another neighbor and they said, well, this style of house is exactly like mine. And my brother loves my house. So I'm going to tell them about it. They've been waiting for that. It wasn't through me, but the brother ended up buying that house. So I totally felt like I sold that house because they never would have known that it was several blocks away and they just weren't paying attention. So they wouldn't have known about it. So it felt pretty good, but you never know who you're going to meet. I love talking to people at garage sales because you have a captive audience. They can't go inside. They have to talk to me. I encourage agents in my coaching, if you don't want to just door knock, if you're feeling comfortable with that, garage sales, that's people are standing out front and that is it, they're welcome. They're welcoming you to come up. So take advantage of that, take some cash because if you might want to buy something if you're having a good conversation. But I've had many agents make great connections, especially this past summer, going up to garage sales. So always keep that in mind. Wednesday, post again. So you want to make sure that you're posting on social media and the list agent keeps posting for you as well on what all the different sites are. They are just as much invested in that open house as you. And then Thursday, invite your database. Even if you know none of the people in my database are going to buy that house, what you're doing is you're showing them, this is where I'm going to be. I'd love for you to come and hang out with me. Similar to what I said about Holly and how she does it. She invites all of her friends, come by. I'm going to have a champagne brunch. Come on by. You're inviting them to come, but you're also reminding them that you're in business, you're selling real estate. So it's a touch for your database. And then Friday, prepare the market stats, print your flyers, door knock. They usually find Thursday mornings and Friday afternoons are the best time to door knock, at least in this area, because people tend to be home. People get off of work early a lot on Fridays, so they tend to be home more. So it's a good time. There's not usually kid events yet. If you kind of hit them early afternoon. And you can kind of look at the layout of the neighborhood, but always plan to go 10 houses either way, so that you get that whole block. And if there's on the other side, so you kind of go back and forth. But if you're going up and down the street, 10, 10, 10, and then if you go the other four way out. So ideally, maybe about 40 houses if you can touch that in that time frame. So kind of circle prospecting around. All right. Okay. Well, what clients like to know: community and neighborhood information, like we've talked about before, relocation information. How is it moving into the area? What's it going to take? First time buyer specifics. They're going to have a lot of questions. I've never bought before. So answering all of that, and mortgage information. If you have a lender there, great. Otherwise, have something ready that you can give them. If it's a lender's card, if it's something you can say, I can email you my buyer's guide, or have some of your buyer's guides printed out right there. You have a buyer's guide in Command that all you have to do is brand it to yourself. If you haven't seen it, just there's 4 different versions in the design center, and you can go there, brand it to yourself. It has all that information. It walks them through the steps of buying. It has a glossary of all the different terms. You can put all that in there and you can hand them that. So have all that information ready for them and know the area that you're going to be working in. Of course, remember, don't call anybody on the do not call list. And you have to give them at least 2 lenders. You can't just give 1 lender out, just to meet all of our guidelines. All right. Prospecting: build trust and rapport, provide value, capture information, and qualifying leads. So one thing that I like to do is I like to print other open houses in the area. I told you before, I like to mention it, but even if they're further away, and I'll get, I know everybody's MLS is different again, but I will just do like the thumbnails of the open houses in the area. And there's an option that you can do a map. And I give that to people and I say, and then I have my information on there and I say, hey, since you're already out and about, here's some other open houses. It's something of value that I can give them. People love it. They're like, oh, I had no idea that one was on, or, oh yeah, we were going to go to that one. I forgot this, but you're providing them something of value that they don't get from everybody else. They may go, they may not go. And then I say, if you have any questions about that house, you can definitely call me and ask me about it. But, and if you like for me to tell you other open houses that are coming on in the future, I'd be happy to do that for you to save you some time. And I have had people then sign up for searches because they want to know. They want to know when other open houses are. They want to see what's coming on the market. Greet everyone that comes in the door. That's pretty obvious. Engage in a conversation. Typically, they know that you're trying to sell to them. We all know that. Think about it as that you have a store. At least that's the way I think about it. When they walk in, I say, welcome, thanks so much for coming. Can you please sign in over here for the seller? However you want to do it, either on paper or the QR code, like I said, maybe I have it on a laptop. And then I give them a little bit of information about the house. Maybe it's some renovations that happened. Maybe it's something interesting that I want them when they get to that point to take a look. When you get outside, take a look at this, whatever that might be, and be positive. Then I kind of let them go and I let them start to walk around. Then I'll catch up with them, maybe as they're kind of starting to go to a different level. And I'll say, hey, where are you living now? What brings you to this? And you start to do some of your forward questions. Hey, well, what are you interested in? What brings you to this neighborhood? Oh, well, we like the schools. Oh, yeah, the schools are great. What grade are your kids going into? You just start to have those conversations. And you're just getting to know them and you're building that rapport as they go through and giving them more tidbits about whatever. So I don't like to bombard them. I like to kind of come back around and grab them again. And then when they're about to go outside or whatever, then I kind of grab them again. And then right before I leave. So give them their space so that they can feel free to walk around, but then still be there, asking them and building that conversation. Provide the value, know your teams or your market stats. So if you're not on a team or you don't have stats yet, you can have your office stats. Never really had anybody ask me that, but I guess it's good to always know. Understand different personality types. Some people aren't going to want to talk to you all the time, but the reason to have some things to hand out are some people are visual learners. They want to see something. They want to hold something in their hands. You want to be able to give them that. Other people don't care. They everything's done on their phone. They're fine with the QR code with the listing on it. So know your audience and the personality types of those people, and have something to offer visitors. So have little mini water bottles there. When it's Girl Scout cookie time, I have Girl Scout cookies sitting there for people. When it's Christmas time, Christmas cookies. Halloween, I have candy, whatever that might be, to pass out and have there for a little snack. A lot of times people don't take it, but that's fine. I do calendars that I mail out every year, and I'll always have, especially in the beginning of the year, I'll have a few of those out so they could take my calendar or pen or little notebook and have that ready. And I say, oh, if you want a little notebook or pen to take notes, then I hand them that. So whatever you can give to kind of get your information into their hand. I like to staple my business card to the information I'm giving them beforehand. That way I'm not handing out an additional card and they have it attached to the information and it's going right there with them. So, all right. Get the sign-in sheet. And like we already talked about, you can use it through command. You can use your KW app. If somebody's interested in searching, download my app. You can search in my app, and anytime that you want to see a house, it's going to let me know that you want to go and see something. So encourage people to download your app. Ask a lot of questions about what brings them there, what's going on. And remember that it's always your mindset. You're there to get leads and appointments. You're not there as a tour guide. You're there for a purpose. That's why we set goals. That's why we are doing the open house in the first place. Follow up after the open house. I know that some agents, they will take that information and they'll get that phone number, and based on the number of people that are in the house, they'll be texting them right after. There are different programs that you can use. There's like different open house programs that'll send out stuff to you, but the fastest way is a text. People read their texts. If you got their phone number, text them. Thanks so much for stopping by the open house today. Here's my information if you have any future questions. Then a couple days later, you say, just checking back. If the house went under contract, I'll say, just checking back, that house went under contract. Let me know if you wanted me to start you on a search for some others, or if it hasn't, then you can say it's still available if you wanted to take another look, whatever that might be. And reevaluate your goals. And did you succeed? What would you need to do differently? But definitely follow up, and then start that person on something of value that you're sending them. So the easiest one is the monthly neighborhood nurture smart plan, where you already know where they're interested in because that you have the house there. So you can send them the neighborhoods that are in that neighborhood and maybe all around there, and start that monthly neighborhood nurture. For active buyers and sellers, I like to do the bi-monthly neighborhood nurture. That way they're getting it from me twice a month. Otherwise, just the once a month's fine, but I like to do the twice a month. If they're actively doing it, then they can get that information from me. And that's how I've gotten other people through the years. It wasn't the monthly neighborhood nurture then, it was called something else. But because it was consistently coming every month and they were always getting something from me, then I was staying top of mind going through. And if you have any limiting beliefs about smart plans, especially that one is the number one most used by Keller Williams agents, most opened, and least unsubscribed. So it's the one that provides the value that people are looking for. All right. Planning your open house. So now I'm going to just switch over to, let me get out of all this. I'm going to go to the presentation guide. Okay. So this, once again, is in your participation guide and your checklist. So you have the preparing for the open house. Here's the day before. I think it even has, sorry, I think Yep, 3 days before. So 3 days before. So this is when we talked about going around and getting everything ready. This is all the checklist for that. Then you have the day before, everything you should be doing. And here's what somebody mentioned. Here's your showing kit, sanitary wipes, bottled water, notebooks, flashlight, things like that. It says a level that's never come up in my time. No one's ever asked me to level anything. Measuring tape, absolutely. I've had many people ask me for that. Never needed trash bags. If you happen to be doing a open house of a home that's in foreclosure, you want to see if the water's working. If it's not working, people can't use the bathroom because it's not going to flush. So if it's a foreclosure, learn from me and make sure that the water is working. Otherwise, you got trouble because of that. So make sure that if you're providing that the water is working. So then you go into the day of open house and all the different things. So these are great checklists. Your market center might have other ones. Here's all the things to pursue. Here's the planning where you're going to see how many you're going to set your goals, but all of this is here in the presentation guide for you. All right, cool. All right. Back here. Any questions? Open houses. Okay. So they tell me I should do this evaluation. We're going to do this. This is my name. If you are able to do it, that'll be awesome. Our names aren't in there, I guess, in this thing, but you just put Ignite After Dark and put our name there. I'll leave that up for a second. Then we're going to do our 10 minutes of lead gen. Then we're going to get into social media, like I said. So we'll switch over to all those fun slides. And then we'll get into Facebook Meta Suite. Take a minute for that. All right. Since there are no questions, since we're going to be talking about social media, I know last night she encouraged everybody to text. No, open. And this is actually a lead gen activity where I want you actually to DM people. If you aren't on social media, you need to be. But if you aren't able to DM anybody, or there aren't people in your Facebook or Instagram or wherever that might be, then you can go ahead and text. But I know you texted people last night. These are actually from Bold. If everybody's heard about that, these are actual things that they do in Bold. And here's the ways that you can do it. The one that I like the best is the second one, where you can say, hey, this is Heather. I'm in a real estate class tonight, and they've challenged us to reach out to 10 homeowners to provide a free equity analysis. Are you in? And the person will either say yes, no, or not say anything. If they say, great, I need your email address and home address, and I'll get that right over to you. Now, I don't want you to what I call fear the yes. Don't fear the yes. If you're like, oh my God, Heather, if somebody asks for that, then I'm going to have to provide it. And I don't know how to do that yet. Don't fear the yes. You're going to be able to go in, and if depending on where you are with your learning and all of that, you can have somebody at your office help you, or just do a very quick CMA of their neighborhood. Pull up their house, see what it is, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or even ask them, say, just so I know, yours is 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Do you have a basement or not? And then they'll answer a couple questions, and then you can give them a couple snapshots of the homes around. At that point, you can say, I'd love to meet and go over it. Then you can work with somebody on what that looks like with doing that whole CMA. So don't fear the yes. Get prepared for the yes. The no is easy. Anybody can say no, and you don't have anything to do. And you can say, well, I asked, Heather. I did ask. So I did what you told me to do. So don't fear the yes. Get the yes, and then work it out then. It doesn't mean you have to send it over tonight. You can get it over to him this week, but you can send him the yes. So Or if you don't want to do that one, then you can just say, hey, I'm in real estate, love to provide customer service. What are you looking for? But I like the other one, gets people going. So I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes and at least 10 people, but try to DM them because these are going to be different. These are going to be people that maybe you connect with more on Facebook. And I want you to start to connect with them because guess what else? You're going to get their email. You're going to get maybe their phone number and their home address. And that's a contact that you're going to put into your database that you didn't have before because they were a social media friend. They weren't a friend in your phone, and you're going to add them to that. All right, setting the timer. All right, we're going to go ahead and start the next tab. Anybody have any success already? Anybody interested? Any connections? If not yet, you can let me know or just drop it in the chat. It's always fun. All right. Capturing leads with social media. Always a fun topic. So here's where we're at. Okay, Carmen, nice. 2 people said they want the free. Quick, tell me how to do that. See, you can't fear the yes, but see, that's amazing. So unmute yourself and let's figure it out real quick. Where are you and how long have you been in the business?
I've been in the business just a few months.
Okay.
Well, let me take that back. I'll be more honest than that. I've been the market center administrator for 2 years, but I've just got my license for 2 months.
I see. Okay.
And I did this on Facebook, and I searched my friends that live in my town, in my same hometown, and it was the people that I don't really talk to. Like I don't have their email addresses.
Yep.
So, but 2 of them have already said they want it. Now what?
Now what? Yes. Okay. So have you taken your like comp classes or anything like that yet? Or does your MLS have those like CMA classes?
I have not taken, are you going to the CMA? No, I haven't taken the CMA. I've dabbled, like I've played with one once to see what it was like when I was taking my actual license class. But no. So it's basically doing the CMA.
Yeah, that's all you're really going to be telling them is so if you do a CMA, or do you know how to search for houses on your MLS? Okay. So the quickest way would be get their stats, like their address, and get just say let me familiarize myself with your house a little bit more, and grab their grab like how many beds, baths, basement, no basement, lot size, things like that, so that you have that. Do you have, it's hard with other states, do you have Remind or like your public like the public access to information? Do you guys do you have Remind? Okay.
We have Real Property Search in Maryland.
Real Property Search. Okay. So you can go on there and it'll give you some information about the house. Like it'll say what it last sold for, when it last sold, so you want to look up that. A lot of times I know ours, it will pop up with the solds in the area. So you can kind of see that. But if you go into your MLS and even if you don't totally know how to do the whole CMA, just search in that area and search for active, under contract, and closed in like a mile radius around, and go back like 6 months, 9 months, something like that. And then pull a couple houses that have some of those same stats and say, here's kind of some of the houses in your area with some of the same criteria, and here's what they sold for. Then you say, to be more accurate, I'd love for us to sit down and we can, I can come and take a look at your house and we can meet more, or maybe we can do a Zoom, but it's kind of a step to lead to the next step. So
Gotcha.
you want to give them the information and start to give them that. But then those are the same people where if you give them that information and then they say, yeah, we're not quite ready to sell yet, but I just kind of wanted to get a feel. Those are the monthly neighborhood nurture people, because now you're doing that. Do you know the monthly neighborhood nurture? Do you know what that looks like?
I know of it. I haven't done it yet, but
So we're all going to keep, all 12 of us are going to keep a secret, because I'm supposed to stick with Ignite, but the tech trainer in me has to come out every once in a while. And I am going to show a little bit of command for that, because I think it's important, especially for the follow-up of this. Okay. So I'm going to break the rule real fast.
I love that I made you break rules.
I know. Like, don't tell them. Don't say anything. I didn't do it, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here's the monthly neighborhood update. So, monthly neighborhood nurture is the name of the smart plan that I'm talking about. So you definitely, like, if you don't know how to give people smart plans, take that class. I won't do that much, but I'm going to show you what this neighborhood nurture looks like. So if you put in an address, it'll come up, it'll automatically default the neighborhood of this particular email to that address. What my recommendation is to always pick that address. And then in that person's contact card, you have the option of picking a couple other neighborhoods, pick a few around there. And that's why I say for open houses, pick a few around the house that you were at. Because if for some reason Spinnaker Cove did not have any homes for sale in the past 30 days, this is not going to get emailed to them. They get nothing. So, but if I have a couple neighborhoods in here, then they're always going to get an email from me every month. My direction is always to send it on the first of every month to everyone in your database, because then it's a consistency. Carmen sends me my neighborhood information the first of every month. And you're not also, if you're going to send out other things like a newsletter or a holiday greeting, other than New Year's Day, nothing's on the first. So you're never going to run into anything that you're going to conflict and be like, wait, I'm sending this person on the 15th, this person on the 2nd. Keep it on the first. Then you're that consistent person that sends them something the first of every single month. Okay. This is what it looks like. Then it goes into the different properties. Then here's another neighborhood and what's going on. Now, then if they hit to explore that area, it now takes them directly into your Keller Williams website. So now they're searching on my website. At this point, they can sign up. And if they sign up, then now they're going to be in my database if they already weren't, or it's going to show that link, that agent site connection link, that now they're searching on my website. It brings up that same area, talks to them about the market snapshot there. Then it talks to them about any other active listings that are on there, what locals are saying, where the trains and stuff come in. It gives them all the schools that are around there, places nearby, and then your info. So it gives them all of that stuff every single month. But when they're searching in there, then they can go up to the feed, and now they can search your website like they would Zillow, Redfin, anything like that. The reason to keep it consistent is because you'll start to see over time that somebody might open it the beginning of the month, and you'll see that somebody opens it on like the 20th. We all know how many emails we get every single day. There is no way that person did not actively search my name and look back for that email so they could go in and they could look up a house in their neighborhood. They 100% did. So knowing that they have it in there all the time, they'll then start to use it like a reference for themselves. Like, oh, my neighbor came on. Where's that email from Heather where she tells me what's going on? Then they open it up and it becomes that way. It also lets people know townhouse communities are the best. I have had 2 buyers who've said to me, Heather, you send me that all the time. I'm seeing what my neighbors are getting for their house. I'm ready to sell. I'm ready to sell because I'm seeing what they're getting. So it's a great smart plan. Like I said, most used, Least unsubscribe, most opened. So you can't go wrong with that one. All right. Does that help? Great. Don't fear the yes. Don't fear the yes. Be ready for the yes, because no is easy. No is easy. You don't have to do any work with no. All right. Then we're never going to mention that I went in, that I escaped from what I'm supposed to talk about. All right. I know I can't do it. It's just, I have to show it. All right. It takes time to learn something, more time to implement it, and even longer to approach mastery of it. It takes about 10,000 hours to achieve mastery or success over something. That if you did this 40 hours a week, it would take you 5 years. Nobody expects you at this point to be a mastery of it. You have to keep practicing. You have to keep learning and growing and enriching and doing all of it. Let's get into the success systems. Hopefully everybody at the end of all of this has, they have been showing your success systems and your engagement. So for social media, it's the 10-5-1, and how you're supposed to approach that. So I've been posting and liking often. Have you noticing changes that hopefully by now you're not a silent realtor? If you're just starting your career and you've done some sort of social media announcement saying, hey, I'm in real estate, or starting to post that. If you haven't, if you are still a silent realtor, hoping that by osmosis, people are going to know that you started a new career in real estate, I'm here to tell you, it doesn't work like that. They have to tell them, and you have to tell them quite often. You need to make that announcement, and you can do it organically by things like, you can take a picture of this class and say, hey, I'm going through all my classes tonight, continuing to learning. Go to an open house, take a picture of yourself and say, come visit me at this open house. Do a home inspection, join some other agent on that. Be touring an open house. And if something is kind of fun or something funny to see, say, hey, anybody know what this is? I saw this when I was showing houses today. So I'm telling you I'm a real estate agent without telling you I'm a real estate agent. But if you have any limiting beliefs about that. But if you're sitting here tonight and you haven't done a post that you're in real estate, I would love for you to unmute yourself and tell me how in the world people are going to use you if you haven't told anybody that you're in real estate, because that would be amazing. I would love that. Love that knowledge. Nobody? That's weird. I always think maybe one day somebody's going to know that. So put that as a goal for yourself, to not be that silent realtor, that you need to announce yourself and start to put yourself out there. All right. 10 likes or loves. Every day you should like or love or react to 10 posts of other people. It's a quick and easy thing to do, and it's a fantastic tool with social media. Don't keep liking and loving the same people. You need to start to do that. Be strategic. Maybe your son's in soccer, and this week you're going to isolate to all the different moms and dads you know in soccer, and you're going to make sure you're liking and you're loving their post. If you're a little more advanced with Facebook, for instance, you can make different groups and have groups of people who are in your neighborhood. Maybe it's your PTA group, maybe it's people you work with, whatever that is, and make sure that you're liking or loving all of that. It doesn't take any effort to like or love a post. We all know we look at our like count. Once again, feel free to correct me. Nobody will. You know, you look, how many likes did I get? How many loves? Who's liking what I'm putting out there? Everybody does that. So give it to them, because you're going to start to see the algorithms are going to work, that you're going to see more of their posts and have more of that engagement. Then you want to comment. They say when you go to comment that you need to do at least 5 posts a day. This does not need to be a novel. All this needs to be is somebody goes to a concert and say, that's really cool. I didn't know they came to town. Something quick like that. Somebody has a cute dog. You say, super cute dog. Doesn't have to be a huge novel. But they do say and this, once again, this is kind of a crazy thing. If somebody comments, then you want to comment that if you comment with 5 words or more, the algorithm picks that up more than if you just say thanks or something like that. So for whatever reason, don't ask me, try to always say at least 5 words when you reply back, because it does something where it validates the person, but it does something with the algorithms too, especially on Instagram. That's a big thing. And I'll explain why I know some weird stuff about Instagram in a minute. One share, one direct message, one original post. Get people thinking about you. So if you're somebody who doesn't post a lot, you need to start, because you need to start talking about people and start showing that you're in business. If you don't have a Facebook business page, now's the time. Are there people out there that don't have a Facebook business page yet? All right, guess what? Put it on the list. You got to have the Facebook business page. People are going to look for you and look for this business page because it's public. When they Google you, you want that to be a link that they have. I went on a listing appointment, I think it was last fall, and went through the whole thing, and the woman had a folder in front of her. She never opened it. At the very end, she opened it, and it was screenshots of my Facebook business page. She had been doing her homework. She had been looking at my social media footprint to decide if she wanted to use me or not. Was she a little bit of a stalker? Sure, she was. But did I get the listing? I did. And they ended up being very nice people. But that's my whole point. You don't know who's looking. If you don't know what to post, we're going to go over some things here. But you need right now to start establishing the footprint. By that, I mean, you have your personal page, whatever it is. Most people have some social media. You have to start having your business page. So when people look you up, there's all these posts. There's all these things that you've been doing over time, that you've got so many posts over time that people have no idea that you just started real estate, how long you've been in. They can't tell. If they go to your Facebook business page and you have 2 posts, they're going to be like, what's up? Why doesn't she ever use this? She must not really do it. The other thing is that once you have listings and you talk to them about how you're going to put everything on social media and you're really going to blow up their house and it's going to be great. And then they're like, great. You're going to put it on your Facebook page that you have 3 people following you. What's that going to get that seller? It's not going to get them anything. So you have to start developing your social media footprint so that when you say that, you can say this is going out to so many people, or the last house that I put out, it went to 3,000 accounts, whatever that might be. That you have to be able to walk the walk that you're talking. So get your Facebook page, start your Instagram page. If you haven't, everybody starts at 0 and start building it up now so that you have those social media footprints. So when somebody looks you up, you have that. All right. Okay. The 80-20 posting principle. 80% personal, 20% business. Now, this is going to be more for your personal page, obviously. You can put some personal stuff on your business page. That's up to you. I keep mine totally business so that when people are going there, it's all about real estate. It might be me doing real estate or real estate related things, but it's all about real estate. On my personal page, it should be the 80-20 rule. Your dog, I went to this movie. Here's a picture of my kid's first day of school. My favorite thing that somebody said about the first day of school is everybody has those boards and they always say, here's their prison intake video. Cause it looks, they hold that up and it's like, here's them going into prison with their prison intake board, whatever. So 80% should be personal. And then you are peppering in the 20%, which is business, where I said organically you can do it. Or you always, every once in a while, need to do direct asks and put yourself out there and say, I'm out of listings. You might never have had a listing. People don't know. I'm out of listings. Who's ready to sell their house? I'd love to get some people in. Or I have buyers looking in whatever town that you're operating in. Who'd like to talk to me about how much their house is worth, who's looking to do that. Direct asks are good, but adding in some of that stuff. You sitting at your office team meeting or company meeting. Hey, look, I'm learning all about whatever just happened in the market today. If you want to know more about interest rates, let me know. Whatever you can do to give that person more value and encourage them with an action item to call you, reach out to you, whatever that is. All right. These are some suggestions. If you don't know what personal things, I know you've been living under a rock as to what people put in their on their personal page. Pets, art, cooking, outdoor, team sports, any of those things. So those are some of the 80. Some of the 20 are going to be listings, open houses, awards, speaking events. Now, awards, any award that you get, I used to have, my limiting belief was when I got awards, I never put them on there, or when I achieved different milestones, capping, things like that, never put them on there. And then I was forced to, and after I did it a few times, then we have a social media director here. She looked at all the analytics. My most engaged paid business pages were when I had awards. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll keep putting that up. But my limiting belief was nobody wants to see that I won this, or that doesn't mean anything to somebody, but those were the ones that everybody wants to see. They want to see you're successful. They want to see that you're succeeding. So put all that stuff on there, anything that you're doing. All right. 10% community service. So add in anything where you're giving back to the community. It could be a food drive. It could be that a school closures or a property tax increase, something of value. I like to connect to some of the different charities in the neighborhood, the area, and when they're doing some sort of drive, coat drive, things like that, that I then am putting that on my page. It shows that you're connected. It shows you care about other things. People love that stuff. The charity loves it because you're promoting their stuff. Pick a mall in your area. If you're close to a mall, they always have a million events. Start sharing the events of the mall. They're having food trucks coming, or maybe Santa's coming to the mall. Start to put that stuff on your business page so that you start to become someone that people look to for community events, different things in the area. So 10% should be community. All right, here are some of the strategies. So now you have the 80-20. Now, there's obviously lots of different platforms. So find your favorite one. They're going to say that Facebook is where you're going to get, depending on your age group, the most engagement. You might get some with TikTok. That's the least amount. And then Instagram obviously is in the middle. Once again, I say age group because if you're more my age and a little bit older, my people are on Facebook, versus if you're younger, maybe your people are more on Instagram. So wherever that is, find your niche. Post about your neighborhood, use images. People love to see that, and they love to see you in the images. Always congratulate new homeowners so that people know, hey, this person's selling, they're actively out there, they're helping people buy and sell. You don't necessarily always have to put their picture on there, especially if they don't really want that. You can post a picture of the house and say, congratulations, just sold. I was so happy to help these people find a house. It doesn't have to be their picture if they don't want it. And then post about any listings. You want to post a coming soon. If your area lets you do it, our area does. Coming soon, this one's coming. This one is now listed. Here's the open house. Here's it under contract. Here's it sold. That's 5 posts about one listing. So you want to have all those different ones in there. You'll be surprised at how many people follow that. I've had houses where I've put them up, and I had this really unique one that went on Zillow Gone Wild. If you've not followed that before, that's always kind of fun. Go on Instagram. It's called Zillow Gone Wild. It's kind of a fun Instagram site. And I had people asking me, did it sell? Did it sell? It It was a 3-story circular, brutalist architecture house made of concrete that I originally sold. So I live in Illinois. Somebody in California saw it. She ended up buying it. She lived in it for a year, did a bunch of stuff to fix up. And this last year we sold it again, but it was featured in tons of magazines, shared to wherever, but it was on Zillow Gone Wild again. So for me, that really blew up social media with that. But yeah, for fun, you guys can go on Zillow Gone Wild and see some of the crazy houses that are around there. All right. Highlight your business. Think about being hyper local information, utilizing the different tech things, post any client testimonials, testimonial Tuesday, things like that. Anytime you get that, put that on there. You can say testimonial Tuesday, and it doesn't have to be every Tuesday. It could be once a month as you start to get them. Nobody pays that much attention. Nobody's going to say, oh, she didn't have one last week. Nobody pays that close of attention. So however many that you have, but people love to feel like you're connected with the community. So any of that hyper local stuff that you can say, hey, did everybody see this road that's been closed forever opened? Whatever that might be, that gets people talking, gets people engaged, gets all of that. Don't post and ghost. Do not put this stuff up and then people are asking you questions or people are engaging and you are not responding. Make sure that you are you're seeing what everybody is answering all the questions, even if you're acknowledged with just a like of whatever they said, that you are not posting and ghosting. The biggest thing is we're going to talk about planning things out. And if you do that, then you do need to go to your social media a couple times a day just to make sure that somebody didn't comment on one of these posts and that you're able to connect with them, because people get real angry when you don't reply back to whatever they're saying. Add value. Participate in the online communities where you can offer unique and valuable perspective. So if you have moms groups in your area, or like I said, if your PTA has one, your school has one, maybe your gym has one, maybe you're involved in any of your local legion, whatever that might be, get on those websites and get on those Facebook pages or whatever, so that you can be commenting and adding that value and become that local expert. And if your area doesn't have one, then you should be the one that starts it and start to get people involved in offering that value. Be authentic. Don't be a jack of all trades. So don't try to find your niche of what you like to talk about, and don't just try to talk about everything because you see all these other realtors talking about everything. If it doesn't feel organic to you, then don't do it. People are going to see right through it that it's not. Embrace video. People love watching video, love watching reels. We'll talk about that in a second. Use the analytics to optimize your posts. So that's what I was saying. Look and see, what are you getting the most engagement in? Who's looking at it the most? Who are you getting that on your Facebook business page of people who've liked you, or maybe people aren't? On your Instagram, who are your non-followers? What posts are they looking at? Because you want to do more of those. So pay attention to the analytics of all of that and ask for help. If this is new to you, hopefully you guys have a social media person in your office. If not, find whoever is really killing it in your office with social media and ask them to help you get going with it. Ask them to help you start. Or there's a lot of different videos online that'll show you how to do all the different things. All right. This is just a little recap of all the different things. What questions do you guys have about that before we go into how to do it?
Question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Sorry, I have a disclaimer. I have 5-year-old twins. I heard you say you had twins earlier, so you understand.
I did. They're 15 now.
Here's some rowdiness. I stuck them in there with the iPad.
No problem.
So I have a social media question. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I know I haven't been texting, but I've been talking to people since you told us to text people from their DM. They're just catching up.
Are they asking for their free evaluation?
Yes, but then they're like, oh, well, what else can you do for me? Can you show me this? Are you interested in buying a property? Like, they're kind of just like, oh, I want to go see these houses, but are you buying a property? Because I cannot spend time showing houses.
Right.
If you're not interested.
You're not a tour guide. You sell.
Okay, not at all.
Right.
not at all.
But
Um,
what
so
you
my
say to that
question-
person is you say, let me look up and see if there's an open house. And then I'll send it to you. Or you can say that one doesn't have an open house, but give me your information and I'll send you some open houses this weekend in that area.
Right.
And when you get serious about buying, then
Let's just have
we'll
a
go-
conversation.
right.
So my question is, so my I'm all for social media. However, I'm kind of like, do I need a social media, Instagram more specifically, Facebook business page? I feel like that's totally easy. But I feel like my Instagram, with the number of followers and things that I have, I'm like, do I need a different page for real estate? Because I kind of like, I want to not necessarily keep them separate. I feel like I need a business social
Right.
media page. But I'm like, are my followers going to go follow that other page without me constantly saying, oh, go check out my other page, check out my other page?
How many people do you have on Instagram right now? Like
About
roughly?
3,000.
About 3,000?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel that you could just organically start to post more business things in that one without having a business page yet? Or do you feel it needs to be separate? Is it private or is it public?
It's public.
Okay.
It's
You're out
public, but I quick background. Prior to having my children, I used to do fitness competitions, like bikini body, like fitness competitions. So
Right.
a lot of my followers are more like in the fitness industry, and I'm sure they're buying and selling houses as well. But I
Right.
kind of feel like, my feed kind of gears towards that aspect of my life. And I'm like, well, I can add this too. But are these people interested? I feel like everyone's interested in houses, but I don't know if that's something I should keep
Right.
separate.
Well, I'm going
Or
to
is there
say
something-
don't overthink it because you're trying to decide what they're going to like before you put it up there. Are you still doing the fitness stuff?
Well, no, but I plan to get back into it now that my kids are in kindergarten.
Okay. So then you're going to be looking at having both, really, because even those same people who might be following you for fitness, they also can follow you for real estate and know that you're doing both of those things. You can absolutely do another business page, but it is hard to get people to go to both. And there's a coach in I'll share her Instagram here when I open up my Instagram, but she is huge in Instagram and she has a business page, but she will even tell you that she gets more from her personal page than she does her business page. And she keeps that, just kind of posts about listings and stuff, but even though she still will have it on her personal page, she kind of keeps that pure. I just have a digital creator page, more of the business page on Instagram versus Facebook. I have my personal and I have the Facebook business page, only because on Facebook, my Facebook isn't public because I put my kids on there and I always have, but the other ones aren't. I don't put my kids on the Instagram. So it's whatever it feels comfortable to you. But I would say if you already have those 3,000 people, if they're already watching you, have seen you go through the journey with all of the fitness, I wouldn't have that limiting belief that they're not going to want to see your real estate posts as well.
Okay. So I was even thinking, like, should I change my name? Like my name is Bikini Girl _Fee because that was my category was bikini. And I'm like, well, do I need to change it to something else?
Well,
I don't,
I guess it would say
it might be overthinking.
No. With that particular handle, you might need to somehow incorporate real estate into it just a scotch, because I don't think people will know that that's what you do unless you actually put it on there somewhere. So I'm going to go to that real fast. Let me just open that up.
Like I'll brainstorm on some names. So I was like, well, I can't do Bikini Girl Realtor because that's kind of like, those don't even go hand in hand.
What's happening? What's happening at that open house?
Yeah, I was like confused. Exactly.
Right. So yeah, somebody else said that they were wondering the same thing about losing personal page followers. I don't think you're going to lose a lot of people if you start doing that, because they're already invested in you. They've already been looking at your posts. And if for everyone you might lose, hopefully you're going to start gaining some other people that are going to start paying attention and following you as well. So I wouldn't limit myself and overthinking about that. Just start doing it. And if you start to notice any different trends, then you can just adjust yourself that way. I do want to give you, this has this capturing. I'm going to kind of skip through some of that. 6 connecting questions. This is just, once again, when you're lead generating, who, what, when, where, and why, what do they need? That just kind of helps you. This is covered a little bit more in your booklet, but I want to get to showing you how to do the stuff. Hold on. Okay. Everybody remembers their success systems. Remember, don't call people on the do not call list. This is your mindset. I engage in every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. Tomorrow is capture, keep, and follow up with leads. And these are the action items I had for you guys. We kind of mentioned some of them. Create or focus on your Facebook business page. Use MetaSuite to systematically schedule your social posts. If you haven't already, announce yourself as a realtor. Don't be a secret agent. Continue to role play the conversations. Just showed you where all of that is. And then continue to use your success system tracker. All right. So let me get into, first I'll open up my Instagram. So at my office, we have been doing a Reels challenge, and several of us have been doing 30 Reels in 30 days. And it has been a journey to do all of these things. Now, I don't have as many followers on Instagram because I just never really used it before. But I used it, I guess, a little bit. But I want to show you if it'll let me. Oh, that was my last one. When I got a new couch. It's exciting. Open. Come on. Okay. So some of the tips that that social media expert that's in real estate gave us. So hopefully this will kind of help you with what to say up here. Is she said you want to say exactly who you are and where you are, so you can see productivity coach and Illinois realtor in Chicagoland, because you don't know what people are searching by. So you want to have the state in there somewhere, and however you kind of describes your area. I wouldn't put Illinois realtor in northwest suburbs, because even to you guys that doesn't mean anything. Where the hell's that? So Chicagoland is where it kind of goes. Then you want to be a digital creator, because you have more options with music and some of the other tools. So don't be a business page. When you go into edit, be a digital creator. It gives you more options in Instagram. That's in the edit profile. Then where you have the bio, you can see this is very quick. Buy, sell, train, coach, grow, technology and expertise, need to launch your business. Very quick. Nobody wants to read your resume at this point. Then you should have a link to your business page, or maybe a link tree to other things. So setting all of that up the right way is key in order to start to attract people and really tell them who you are. So I would say if you're able to keep the same name, then here in this description, you're going to want to say your name, and then you're going to want to say something about fitness, whatever best describes that. And then you're going to want to say realtor with such and such, but you're going to want to put that in there. When you do the digital creator, it makes you pick an area. So you can see I picked real estate. So it does make you pick some of those things where then it knows that's kind of where you're targeting. I don't know if it lets me show, on my phone, I can get the analytics of it. But so anyway, you can see these are 30 reels in 30 days. It's been a journey to do all of these different things. Here's one of my ones for, this is for the coat drive. This is to put the coats here. So this is where I was promoting a local charity, and we're doing our coat drive here. Why I bring that up is that's where it's showing. Here's a listing. It's mixing it in. It's showing different things that are going on. And this this has been just a lot with our office to learn how to really impact. But they say if you're going to do Instagram, try to plan on at least 3 posts. Reels get seen the most, but reels per week. So that's kind of your goal if you're going to do it that way, is to have that many. I wish it gave me my professional dashboard, but I don't see that here so that you could see it. Now, this is the agent that I was talking about, and she's a Miami agent with Keller Williams. Let's see if I can get. I know her and I have messaged, so I can show you what her. So it's Sarah E. Morales, Miami Realtor. Follow her if you really want to see how she really does a lot with social media and mixes it with real estate and all of that. So she's a great one to follow. All right. Now I'm going to go over into Facebook MetaSuite, and we're going to take a post from command and we're going to put it in there, and I'm going to show you what that kind of looks like. All right. You have to have a Facebook business page for the MetaSuite to work. So if you don't have that yet, you're going to get it, and then you're going to be able to do all this fun stuff. So when I go in here, you can see here's my personal page, but then my business page is the Heather We Know Partners right there. I go into Meta Business Suite over here. And then I'm going to go into the planner right here. Oh, let me see what's in the chat. You missed Sammy's IG info. Oh, you mean Sarah E's? Oh, okay. Let's see. Let me open it again. See, here's her personal and then her business. She has them both, but so this is her PC, and it's SARAIMORALESPC. She's the PC coach. And then it links to her business page on that one. No, you're fine. So check her out. She's fun. There's my Zumba teacher. What? Okay. All right. So we're going to go into the planner, and then it's going to show you, usually shows you the week. We're going to show you the month. Now, of course, mine's going to be heavy because we've been doing this 30-day challenge. So you're going to see all of that. So I'm just going to roll back to back a couple months when it wasn't as many, and I did some of these as I planned out. All right. So you can do Facebook and Instagram posts here, and you can set them up for future dates. It's very easy to move them over. So we're going to go into command, and we're going to go down to the design center. We're going to go over to create a design and a social. All right. They say that the square is the easiest one to work with. So that's the templates we're going to look at. The social squares. And then you have all your different choices. What we're interested in is we're going to do some of the holiday ones. So we're going to go down here to holiday, and it's going to have every month of the year. So we're going to look at October, and then it's going to give us all of the different things that are coming up in October. Boss's Day, Halloween, any of those, so we can start to get that set up. All right. And it's quick and it's easy, because all you have to do is, I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to use this one. And the only thing that I need to change is the logo right here. All right. You should have in My Assets, there's my photo, but if I go down to logos, this is where in My Assets, you should have your brokerage info. If you don't, talk to whoever does that at your market center who teaches this or does this to help you get these logos in here. The ours require that you have the little realtor sign and the equal housing. And so every state's different, I know. So ours has a lot of stuff that it has to have. So these are ours. All you do is you click and put it onto the logo. Oh, mess with me. Right there. So you can see it's highlighted. And then I just have to go over and grab any of them. I don't want to add, I want to replace. And I hit replace. There it is. That's it. That's all I have to do. Now I can go up here. I can make it say whatever name I want. I'm just going to put 23. So I know this is the one I used in 23. And then I'm going to download it. Wait, did I download it? Let's see. Oh, sorry. Not a PDF. You're going to do a high quality PNG. Sorry. It says all pages, but you can see there's just one page. All right, download that. Now I'm going to go back over to MetaSuite. And I can go right up here to create. Whoop. Yes, we see you. Go right over here to create. And it's going to automatically default to Facebook. So you're going to go down and just make sure it's on Instagram too if you want it to post in both places. I'm going to add the photo from my desktop that I just downloaded. There it is. And I'll give it a second. And there it is. And then I can put in the text. Have a happy and safe Halloween. Now I go down, I can publish it right now, or I can schedule it, or I can save it as a draft. But today we're talking about time blocking, getting all these things done in one shot. So we're going to schedule it. You can see it schedules them separately. It gives suggestions of times, but I don't usually do that. So we're going to go and I'm going to make it on the 30th. Oh, does it not let me go that far out? Maybe it won't let me go that far out. You know, they keep changing all this stuff in here.
It says 20 minutes to 29 days from when they.
Oh, yeah. So it won't let me. All right.
Mhm.
I'm going to put it on the 19th just to show you guys. That'll post. There you go. So it won't let me yet, too far in advance, but we'll do it there. I usually like to do them in the morning. So when people wake up, they see everything. I don't care so much about the exact time. And then I can go down. I have all this stuff in there. Whoops. Oh, you're loving all of this. Great. Thanks. Awesome. Okay. Then I can hit schedule. And you're going to see that come in my October. Switched to, there it is. So now that's ready to go. I can set it and forget it. Obviously, I'm not going to leave that one on the 19th. I'm advertising a little bit early, but this is a great way to take a look at what your month has ahead. And it even gives you some options, like here's Indigenous People Day. It'll say some other things. I encourage you to look up some like silly days that you can put in there. I was going to Disney World with my kids one May, and I set a bunch of these up, and one of them was like National Chocolate Lovers Day or something. And I set it up, and I was on the rides at Disney, and I started to get all this engagement. I'm like, what in the world are people commenting about? I had to look it up because I'd done it so far in advance. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, everyone's commenting on this Chocolate Lovers Day. Like, who knew? People like that kind of crazy stuff. So you can pick any of them. If you know you're going to have, if there's other slides, or maybe you see like something that you want to post about career night at your office, you can put that in there, whatever that might be. Maybe it's your MLS or that service sends you different things to share. or you want to create some stuff in Canva yourself and put it in there, put it in the planner so that you are time blocking, that this is not something you have to do every day to be active on social media. You could do this once a month, once a week, where you take time. Like I said, we're lucky here. We have a social media director. She gives us 5 posts a week that we can use and put in, so we can pop all these in every single week. But it's yours. It's a lot easier to do it this way than for every day to be like, oh, what should I post? Oh, what do I need to do? And that's a time suck. So do it here and do it in advance. And you have all those options in Command that you can do any of those holidays and pull those up. Apparently only 29 days out now, but you can do that there. All right. Any questions, guys?
I have a question.
All right.
So I've been having issues with I have the Meta Business Suite. I have my business page for Instagram, for Facebook.
Right.
And I've been scheduling posts when I have time to sit for a few hours to get like a week out. But when I'm in my Command, it does not let me have paid campaigns, because it says whenever I try to hook up my business page, my Facebook business page, it says that I need to be approved by the administrator, which I am the administrator. So I do not know why.
Yeah, I would, it's probably a glitch since we switched over to the new paid ad program. So I would do a fix-it ticket. Do you know how to do that?
I'm sure I could figure it out.
Okay, well, I can show you like real fast here. Let's see. Let me go into it. Actually, I'll go out of this here. So if I'm in here and I go up to this little question mark right here, and I go down to chat with support, I don't really want to chat, but if I, come on. I'm trying, oh, it's like weird. Oh, there it is. Okay. So get in touch. I go to get in touch. And it will say, leave a message, right? At that point, I leave the info about whatever's going on. Like my Twilio got disconnected like a month ago. And I said, for whatever reason, it keeps kicking me out of Twilio. And I explained it. And then maybe like 4 or 5 days later, I got an email that says, hey, we fixed your Twilio problem. And then they had gotten that corrected. So that's what I would do. I'd start.
Thank you. I've been trying to figure this out for like a while. It's been very irritating.
Yeah. The chatting, no offense to the people who created this, it's all AI. So I've never really gotten anywhere with the chatting. It's not live. I've gotten a lot further with leaving a message, telling them what my deal is. And sometimes they'll email you and they'll say, hey, we're looking in this. We're not quite understanding what your problem is. And then you kind of go back and forth a little bit with them. But when it's more like that back end stuff, nobody can really help you other than the back end support.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Thank you
Anything else, guys? Nope. All right. I'm supposed to put the evaluation thing up again. So I'll pull that up again as we depart. It's been great being with you guys. I hope that feel free to reach out. I'll put my information in the chat if there's something that you missed, that you had another question, or maybe you didn't want to ask it in a big group and have me shout out. You can definitely do that. I work best with text, but I would be happy to help you. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the great feedback. And everybody have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks. Shout out to twin moms. You'll make it.
Thanks. It's a struggle. I'm like, and now I have to go fuss at them and say, you guys know you're supposed to be in the bed.
Oh, I know.
But I told
Trust
them,
me.
It's fine.
I can't even look at my phone. They're 15. Like I said, I guarantee somebody's calling me about something, or there's something going on at home that it's not going to end, but it'll get a little easier, but it won't end.
No, people keep saying that it gets easier, and I'm like, does it? Because now they're fighting, but they're not. I have boys, but they're fighting, but they're not like real fighting, but they're play fighting. It is nonstop. Like, can we
Yeah.
take a break? Let's calm down, take some deep breaths. And they don't even care. They don't even
Yep,
care.
it's just twice
But-
of everything.
I do have one random personal question
Yeah, no problem.
about twins, because I ask every twin parent that I meet. Do you keep them together in classes, or did you separate them?
Separate. Our school, you
Okay.
you actually had to advocate like in their schools to keep them together. Otherwise they separate them. I have two very different twins, and what they say is that if you keep them together, they're going to naturally stay together more. And that's not good for their socialization, especially when they're younger. But then as they go older, they'll start to compete. And the teachers will say,
Mm.
oh, well, your sister Juliana was able to do it and you weren't able to do this, or, you know, they start
Oh.
to, because teachers, as much as they try to keep them separate, they can't. Like when it's the same teacher, they're like, well, how come she's getting it and she's not getting it? Or they say, well, your mom did this, your mom did that. It's just better to have two different teachers, treating them totally separate, because then they don't have any of that competition or feeling like
Yeah.
this one's got an A, this one's got an F, what's going on. You know, when they're in different rooms, even though they do a lot of the same material, it's not exactly the same, so they feel separate, and then they get their own set of
Yeah.
friends. But I still liked to keep them in the same school or near each other, because then they could ride the bus and they still had their twin, but
Time together.
they need to have that independence. Because the girls, when they were growing up, there was a set of boy twins, and that mom fought to keep them in the same room. And those kids, they were their only friends. They only were together, and they just kind of
Yeah.
clung on to each other the whole time. And I was like, yeah, that's not good. Those kids are not learning any independence without their brother. So
Yeah.
yeah, they'll
Makes
like
sense.
it better.
Sorry,
They'll see each
Carrie.
other on the playground, on the bus, and then they'll be fine. And just that they know that they're in the building, it seems like all they really care about. See them in the hall, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah, it'll work out. Thank you. Sorry, Carrie. Thanks for your patience.
You're fine. All right. Have a good night.
Have a good night.